Hi, my name is Katelyn Tubbs, and today I'll be talking about my semester research project on the spectrum, how public libraries serve children with autism. Today's topics will include an introduction, literature review, topic statement, research questions, methodology, limitations of study, data analysis methods, data presentation, and my anticipated results. Autism spectrum disorder continues to grow more prevalent in children each year. Autism, described by the CDC as a neurobiological disorder, can affect both communication and behavior. The CDC estimates 1 in 54 children in the U.S. is diagnosed with ASD. While ASD does not discriminate between race, gender, or socioeconomic status, not every child has the same resources to meet their needs. This is where public libraries can help. By providing services and programs where children on the spectrum can learn and feel safe, the library can work towards its mission of meeting the needs of all its patrons. In 2009, the ALA included an interpretation of the Library Bill of Rights that libraries should be inclusive in serving members of the community, quoting that the library can play a transformational role in helping facilitate more complete participation in society by providing fully accessible resources and services. Public libraries have a responsibility to be inclusive and serve all members of its community, and that includes providing services and programs for children who have autism spectrum disorder. According to the CDC, ASD includes multiple conditions that used to be diagnosed separately. These include autism, pervasive developmental disorder not otherwise specified, and Asperger's syndrome. These conditions all fall under the umbrella of the autism spectrum disorder. Professionals diagnose ASD by observing how the child communicates and behaves in comparison to other children of the same age. This literature review provides supporting evidence to expanding services at libraries to accommodate and meet the needs of its special needs population. One area where the literature supports this is through early intervention. Research shows that community-based early intervention can improve cognitive improvements for early school-age children with ASD. There are different approaches to early intervention. Behavioral-based intervention focuses on applying learning theory to help children develop needed skills, while developmental-based interventions focus on interpersonal relationships in support of the child's development. The literature shows that early intervention for early school-age children with ASD is promising in lessening the severity of symptoms. Many of the studies Daniels and Mandel analyzed concluded there were more delayed diagnosis among ethnic and racial minorities, families living under resourced areas, as well as families who fell under a low socioeconomic status. This shows the importance of utilizing public libraries to help meet the needs of children who may not have access to the same resources as others. The growing number of individuals with ASD highlights the importance of training informational professionals and library staff on providing this specialized support to ensure that children with ASD and their families have access to the services they need at the library. In a study of libraries and the services they provide, Adkins and Bushman found that 23 respondents reported a lack of library staff education on children with disabilities as a challenge for them in implementing programs. With this lack of training and support in public libraries, there is less access to information and services for individuals with autism. This lack of training can be solved with initiative and collaboration. Atkins and Bushman detail a study which distributed a survey to libraries across the nation to discover what types of support and services were being provided to children with disabilities. They found that many of the libraries that responded indicated their libraries had not reached out to the community to assess its needs. The researchers found that this suggests librarians play a larger role in documenting those within the community with special needs, and that they also have a responsibility to connect parents to resources and other support. By building a network of collaborators and advocates, we can provide support and practical advice for libraries to create services to better serve children with ASD. Individuals with disabilities like autism are often excluded from taking part in social situations and activities. In a study examining the social participation of children with ASD in comparison to their peers without any disabilities, Tahari et al. Found that children with ASD and other intellectual disabilities participated in fewer social activities than their peers and had fewer friends. This study shows the need for children with ASD to have more opportunities to be included. There are positive outcomes for children with ASD to participate in activities outside of school, including an increase in cultural awareness and the opportunity for individuals with disabilities to build more relationships within their community. While it's important to support social inclusion, there's also challenges in doing so. It's important to remember that there should be a wide perspective in ASD research because each individual interacts with their environment differently. There's a lack of services available for children on the spectrum. Challenges to support social inclusion for children with ASD are apparent, and public libraries can be an environment where children with ASD can be included. By recognizing that children with ASD experience situations differently, we can create programs that are welcoming and accessible for them. Specialized programming in the library can also be of benefit to children with ASD, helping them feel more comfortable and help increase their overall cooperation and participation. Akin and McKinney suggests the ideal programming for children with ASD follows the 3 R's, which are routine, repetition, and redundancy. Many families with a child with ASD depend on these routines. In a qualitative study of families with children on the spectrum and how sensory behaviors impact their everyday routines, Schaff et al. Found that many families of children with autism develop these routines to increase the child's satisfaction. Through research and planning, library programs can be designed with the needs of these children in mind. Creating and implementing specialized programs for children with ASD consists of a lot of trial and error. Children with ASD need to learn the library environment and how the programs and activities work. The library can help children with ASD in relaxing and enjoying their library visits. Libraries must also anticipate designing programs with tools that can help combat any sensory overloads for children with ASD, as sensory-related barriers are highly prevalent. And this could be anything from fidget spinners, noise-canceling headphones. There are several ways that libraries can help children with ASD from sensory overload. My topic statement for my research project states that the purpose of the study is to learn how one library, the Scott County Public Library, which is located in Georgetown, Kentucky, can better improve its services and accommodations for children on the spectrum. The research questions used to guide my study are: 1. How effective are library programs at the Scott County Public Library in integrating and accommodating children on the spectrum? 2. What are the most common obstacles children with ASD face when participating in library programs at the Scott County Public Library? And 3. At the Scott County Public Library, does the environment affect how a child with ASD engages in library programs? And the environment is going to be with your sensory stimuli, whether the lights are too bright or if it's too noisy or any other things that can create sensory overload. For methodology, this evaluation research will utilize qualitative methods to collect data, one being a Qualtrics survey. The survey was created and open to all families in the community who wish to participate, and it will be advertised by flyer through both the library and local newspaper. Due to the vulnerable population, children with autism, the survey is intended to be answered by parents and guardians. The questions are designed to understand each individual child's experiences with the library, from sensory stimuli to potential program accommodations the library can make to help children with ASD feel welcome at the library. Focus groups will also be implemented with 2 different sessions. One session will be intended for parents of children with ASD. Participants will be invited through the library's current support group for families with children who have special needs. Their invite will be explained based on the library's want to improve its services for those with special needs, including autism. And it'll be explained their participation is entirely voluntary and that we want to involve the community because that is who the library serves. For the second session, research on other libraries in the state will be conducted to find potential participants to invite who have experience serving those with ASD or other disabilities. These library professionals will be invited to the focus group with the understanding that it will be to discuss ways to improve library services for children with ASD. And the reason for them to be invited is due to their existing knowledge on serving those with disabilities. I think it's also beneficial to utilize observational research, as it can provide an informal way to get to know participants from observing behaviors, social skills, reactions, etc. in the library setting. Informed consent forms will also be sent out. For the Qualtrics survey, this will be embedded at the beginning of the survey, and it also contains an agree-disagree filter before they can move forward to the questions. The focus groups will receive their informed consent forms by email along with the invite to participate in the focus group. And to the right, you can see an example of the consent form that potential participants would receive. There are limitations to this study. The population involved is doubly vulnerable as they are both children and people with disabilities. Because of this, actual involvement with the children would need to require a caregiver present, as well as possibly other requirements by the IRB. This study has other limitations as well. By obtaining data through surveys and focus groups, there's a possibility participants may not express their honest opinions, or they may be hesitant to express their thoughts because of the sensitivity of the topic. Another limitation to the study is how ASD can create challenges unique to each individual, so the participants may not fully represent the needs of all children on the spectrum. For data analysis, based on the design, the study will mainly collect text data. Focus group data will provide a depth in understanding each participant's perspective and can be compared to identify themes in the data by using content analysis. Data from surveys will be recorded and translated into percentages to represent findings. To visualize data, infographics and bar charts will be used, along with the possibility of utilizing word clouds, which can be used to summarize the themes and the data from the content analysis, and they can be generated to create discussions for possible further research. Survey findings can be visualized utilizing charts and infographics. One question from the survey listed below would be a good example of how a bar chart could be utilized to present the data. The question states, what would you like to see your library implement to help meet the needs of your child? A bar chart would be a great way to visualize the findings from this question. It's anticipated that this study will reveal that there are multiple challenges children with ASD face when visiting a public library, and there's a need for the library to improve its services to better accommodate to those children. It's important to remember each individual interacts with their environment differently, so this study will provide insight for library professionals in the community to develop services for the community's specific needs, not just a generalized answer. It's also anticipated that this study will illustrate the need to educate librarians and library staff on the importance of staying informed and participating in training that will help better serve all its patrons within the community. It's necessary for informational professionals to understand and assess the needs of the community to help create a universal space that can make all users feel welcome and comfortable at their local public library. Thank you for this time today.